no better animal to represent the ocean's beauty than the killer whale.
They live in every corner of the ocean, from the Arctic to the Atlantic, the Southern to the Indian, to the Pacific and beyond.
The killer whale story is the ocean story, and it's one we all share.
We are one world, united by our ocean.
These behaviors keep the whales active and engaged. SeaWorld's killer whales have inspired generations to care for the natural world, and we're excited to share their story with you today.
Killer whales are the ocean's top predator. They use cooperation and communication, not just size and strength, to take their place at the top of the ocean's food web. At the bottom are small animals, like krill. At the top, the apex predator, the killer whale. Killer whales are as big as a bus, faster than an Olympic swimmer, high-flying and powerful.
We are going to see all of that today and more. These and other behaviors help provide an environment full of enrichment.
We
spend days, weeks, months, and years building relationships with our whales. This creates trust, and that allows us to do some amazing things. For example, when you visit the doctor, you present your arm to draw blood, or step on the scale to see how much you weigh. It's much the same with our whales.
Throughout today's presentation, you'll see the whales moving together in unison. These synchronized behaviors help strengthen their social bonds and allow them to problem solve as a group. This is yet another reason they're known as the ocean's top predator. Their scientific name is Orca, and their common name is killer whale. The 4 whales in our care have their own individual names: Sakari, Takara, and joining us out front are Kyuquot and Tuar. Sakari is the youngest at 16 years old, and Takara is the oldest at 34. Orcas live in a matriarchal society with 1 female in charge. And for this pod, that's Takara, which means she's the leader. These whales trust us, and they take an active role in their own health and well-being. Through the use of positive reinforcement training techniques, we can teach the whales husbandry, or healthcare behaviors. Trainers Cassidy and Jacob are about to demonstrate just a few of those behaviors for us today. One of the very first behaviors we teach the whales is something we call a fluke present, in which the whales present their tail flukes to the trainers. Not only does this allow us to view the whale's entire ventral side, but it also provides access to the easy-to-see shallow veins, which run in the white underside of their tail flukes. Our veterinarians are able to collect a blood sample from these veins at least once a month, and the whales are conditioned to remain calm throughout the entire process, just as Tuar is demonstrating. Now, during this presentation, you'll see the trainers giving the whales tail massages, back rubs, or even splashing them with water. This is because killer whales have extremely sensitive skin, and this is an excellent way for us to further strengthen our relationships with them. Now, collecting blood is just one of the ways we can monitor the whale's health. Another very important diagnostic tool is how much they weigh. We can obtain a weight on the whales at least once a week by asking them to slide their entire body up and out of the water onto a killer whale-sized scale located in one of our adjacent back pools. Now, you may notice a portion of Kyuquot's body remains in the water. That part of his body, from his dorsal fin to his tail flukes, is called the peduncle and contains some really big muscles which can weigh several hundreds of pounds. So in order to get an accurate weight on the whales, we simply ask them to lift their heads and tails up and out of the water. And that's how we know that as of this Monday, Kyuquot was weighing in at over 9,990 pounds. It is essential for us to monitor all of the whales' weights to ensure younger animals like Sakari are growing appropriately and our adult whales like Kyuquot are maintaining a healthy weight. These husbandry behaviors help ensure that the whales are both healthy and thriving.
And the care isn't just physical. Mental stimulation and play are vital, and we surprise and engage with our whales at every opportunity. Play is how killer whales teach their young to hunt. For the adults, play is important too. It seems that they just enjoy having fun. Making time for play is an important part of life for killer whales, and for us.
Observational learning and mimicry play critical roles in the life of a killer whale. From the moment they're born, they learn necessary life skills by observing their mothers and other members of their pod. Here at SeaWorld, they even do that with us, and we're about to see that in action right here in the stadium. Now, Tuar has moved on to the glass where he's hanging out with his new friend, Abby. Abby, why don't you go ahead and give Tuar a big wave hello, see what happens. Would you look at that? He's paying very close attention to you. Killer whales are very curious animals, and they're often seen spy hopping or even jumping fully out of the water to get a better view of the surroundings. And it looks like Tuar is about to demonstrate that with a behavior called the sighting bound out at the center. Here's Tuar. Well, that like so much fun. We're going to make our way on over to the other side of the stadium where Kyuquot is hanging out with his new friend William, and we're going to learn a little bit about how killer whales communicate. They use a variety of ways to communicate, and one of those is the use of vocalizations. William, why don't you go ahead and ask Kyuquot for that sound? That sounded beautiful! Did you know scientists believe that when killer whales jump out of the water, that may be a way for them to communicate to make their presence known? You see, sound waves travel about 4.5 times faster in water than they do through air. So when a killer whale leaps all the way out of the water and its body crashes back down onto the surface, that's called a breach, and that sound can be heard for miles around. Oh, and we forgot to mention it also makes a huge splash. Thank you, William, for being such a great sport. Don't worry, we'll get you a towel. Let's give a round of applause for our amazing audience volunteers. As we just saw, killer whales can communicate by leaping out of the water and making a huge splash. SeaWorld's research and observation of the animals in our care has shed light on many mysteries about killer whales. For example, we now know the gestation period of a pregnant killer whale is 17 months. That kind of information is impossible to obtain out in the wild. Some information can, however, only be obtained through field observation, which is why SeaWorld has worked closely with our conservation partners from around the world to further our own knowledge. Killer whales are remarkable, powerful animals, and perhaps the best expression of that power is when they hunt.
Killer whales stand apart. They have no natural predators, and just about any other ocean animal can be their dinner. Depending on where they live and their chosen prey, they've developed some epic hunting techniques. Off the coast of South America, killer whales will beach themselves, riding in on waves just long enough to catch prey. They'll also create waves that knock animals like penguins or seals from ice cliffs. Most importantly, they cooperate, communicate, and coordinate as a team. Here's footage of killer whales corralling a school of herring. A whale dips in and feeds, while the other whales keep the fish together with swipes of their tail fins.
In the ocean, killer whales create waves to hunt. They use fluke swipes to scent their prey, and they can even reach themselves up and out of the water. For these whales, it's a fun demonstration, but for all of you, it's time to get wet!
Killer whales are impressive animals, and it's pretty obvious why they're the top predator in the ocean. That means killer whales are invincible, right? Wrong.
Killer whales depend on a plentiful food source and a clean environment. They're completely dominant, yet completely dependent.
When it comes down to it, killer whales are not the most powerful animal in the ocean.
Their future depends on you.
Through your actions.
Through the choices we all make.
We hold the future of killer whales and the oceans in our hands.
Killer whales continue to surprise and amaze us. They're the perfect ambassador of the ocean. Limitless, connected, powerful. But still vulnerable.
The challenges that we face can seem insurmountable. Don't give up. Be inspired.
The ocean needs our help, and that seems overwhelming. But together, we can make it happen.
There's so much to learn.
So much to protect. So much to explore. The killer whale story is still being written.
And there are simple things we all can do to make a difference.
All it takes is one. One choice.
One positive act. One ripple that can grow and grow.
And change the world.
Together, we've got this.